Alright, so I would run through this is, the first part is obviously we need to consult our manifold pressure chart and see how much power we have available. Second thing we need to do is know how much power we're hovering with. So before we even commence the exercise, I'm just going to get the machine into a very low, gentle hover and look how much power that's using. So we're using, let's call it 22 inches. To sustain the hover. Okay, so we just go back down, which is about right for our weights and the temperature. It's nice and warm. Cool. And you can open your door whilst I explain this. Sorry, split bottom. Alright, so how I would explain this is, the aim of the limited power is to take off when we've got less than, or we've got 1 inch map reserve. If we've got less than 1 inch map reserve, we're not even going to attempt this departure, because no hover, no fly.
Yes.
So, assuming the helicopter's hovering at 22 inches, we're going to try and take off at 21 inches during the scrape, and then we're going to use the last inch to pull us off the ground as we go through translational lifting. So if the machine was limited to, let's say, 23 inches, and we needed 23 just to get it to hover, then there's not enough margin for error. What we want to avoid is avoid getting into a hover, nosing forward, and running out of power and hitting the ground with downward momentum. We'd rather scrape with no downward, just horizontal momentum. And once we get ETL, we'll pull the power up a little bit more. And then the common mistake with this is what guys tend to do is they tend to lead with cyclic, i.e. apply forward cyclic, and then raise the power. And that puts a lot of pressure on the front of the skids. So what we do is we pull it to 21 with no forward cycling. And at 21, only then do we start introducing forward cycling. And as we're scraping along, we expect the right skid to lift a little bit earlier. As the right skid lifts earlier, the aircraft starts getting pulled towards the head. So we've got to be quite awake on the pedals. Cool, so I'll do the first one with you. So our limit today is 22 inches. I can't use more than 22 for takeoff. Simulated limits. Alright, so step 1, bring the power in with no forward cycling. Our reference point, the end of the runway. So there's 20 inches there. There's 21 inches there. So I've still got my 1 inch reserve. So if you can't move forward with the 1 inch reserve, then it's not going to work. So we just keep scraping. Obviously there's no wind, so it's going to be a long scrape today. I'm at 21.5 inches there, and I'm going to use my second inch now. There's my second inch. Just to help me get through translation. And then once I've got through translation now, I'll pull the bar back to 22 because we've got that, and we can climb away relatively safely on our 22. So it's not a case of just scraping forever and ever. And as you scrape and the disc becomes more efficient, you can actually raise the collective a little bit more to sustain that power setting. Cool, you've got the controls.
I've got it.
Cool, so we'll just do a normal hover and land, and then you'll pattern me through that exercise. Briefing was great. Step 1, let's see how much power we're using to hover. 22. Go down. 21, 22. Now they've got numbers. If we just say 1 inch less, 1 inch, they're in the explanation, they're not quite sure what 1 inch less, 1 inch more is. So I would just start off by getting them to a hover. Identifying 22. Go down and say, okay, we're going to pull it to 21. At 21, we're going to nose forward. And we can pull to 22, we can pull that remaining inch so that they know exactly what the numbers are. Cool.
Can I do that again? Alrighty. So limited power takeoff. Our first step is going to see how much power we use whilst hovering. So let's get ourselves into the hover. We are going to pull up to 21 inches. So we will have 1 inch to spare. We'll pull up to 21 inches. Get the helicopter light on the skids. Small nudge forward with the cyclic to start forward movement. Patience is key here. Once we've got a bit of forward momentum, we'll use our extra inch that we've got spare. Once we've got clean air over the rotor blade, you'll see we'll have a bit more manifold pressure to use, and we will then start a very gentle climb out.
Cool.
Is that fine?
That's good.
Sharp. There we go, on 21. Gently forward with the cyclic just to get moving. Being awake on those pedals. Nice. Now we've got a bit of forward speed, so now I'm going to pull to that 22. And we'll just gently keep going forward.
All good. I think we may have pulled that power a bit earlier.
Yes.
So when we pull that extra inch is when we get to translational lift.
Yeah.
So we want to scrape it to translational.
Yes.
At the onset of translational, we use that extra inch. Whereas there, we scraped it, we pulled the 22, and then we started sinking before translational, which required us to actually use more power than if we were just a little bit more patient for ETL.
I should have scraped a bit longer.
In a nutshell, but it changes depending on the wind.
Yes.
If you're into wind, out of wind, crosswind, or you got a stronger wind. So some days the scrape that we did now is more than enough. So when we decide to pull that extra power is when the aircraft starts giving us symptoms of ETL. Because once we get ETL, we know we're like high and dry, we can commit to the takeoff by using that inch. Whereas if we start scraping, and then we decide, okay, we've scraped for 5 or 10 meters, let's commit to the takeoff by pulling the power. We're now off the ground, forward momentum, but we haven't even got ETL, and then we could, at altitude, start losing RPM, because we're going to above 22 there, but we haven't got ETL yet. So you want to kind of just be nice and patient. At ETL is when we use that extra.
Just a bit more patience.
Where our width at powers, if you start accelerating and you haven't got ETL, but you'll see the manifold goes from 21 to like 20.5.
Yes.
Definitely pull it back to 21, because we want to keep as much. If you just let go of the collective, it drops.
Yeah.
So we don't want the power to go backwards, or the collective to go down. But we don't want to pull it into the air and commit to it and use up our reserve before we know we've achieved ETL.
Got you. I think I'm just sad for the skids.
We all sad for this. I'm the most scared for this. And if I look at today's actually a tricky day to do this because the wind is so light and it's also so variable.
Yeah.
So, we could do this exercise twice, and then without realizing the wind could just shift a little bit.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden you're going to have to go 50 meter scraping.
Yeah, because if you even need just a 5 or a, 10 knot wind will help so much.
Well, a 3 knot headwind versus a 3 knot tailwind makes a huge difference to your ground time.
Yeah. Okay, so let me do the exercise again. Okay, so I'm going to get us up to 21. Also, maybe rather catch it here than going all the way up and then having to put it back down again. Up to 21, that's it. That's where we are. Gentle forward. Foxtrot Victor 2, go ahead.
Don't pull the tires.
Okay, it's got to be a bit faster even, okay.
So the wind has shifted a bit from our left.
Yeah.
Which again changes. So, we don't want to teach the students to scrape on forever and ever and ever, but we don't want to teach them to scrape and then pull. Because the cycling going forward uses some lift.
Yeah.
So as you orientate the cycling forward, we're orientating our lift from a vertical to a horizontal component, which means you need more power.
Yep.
So we don't want to take our lift from a vertical to a horizontal and then start adding power when we haven't got ETL because the chopper's tendency is to sink.
Yep.
So we've lifted her up as she wants to sink. We'd rather keep her light on the skids, get ETL, and then use our power to pull her off the ground. And this way we can, you should only get airborne once you basically have ETL.
Yeah. It's quite a bit of forward speed.
On a day where there's no wind, yes. If there was a 12 knot wind going, we would probably move 3 meters forward.
Yeah.
So it's a good day to practice it because this is like those hot summer days in the high top. There's no wind, super hot, high altitude. The guys do tend to scrape quite a little.
Okay.
Obviously we don't love what it's doing to the skids.
No.
This is when it's the most challenging, and this is when the student needs it. So if he goes and lands out somewhere and there's wind, he's probably going to have that extra power. But it's on a day like this where there's no wind that the alarm bells need to be going off, like I'm limited on power. Definitely we don't want them using this technique willy-nilly, but if push comes to shove, at least they're trained to do it. Cool, so let's just hover here for a second.
Okay.
Let's go to that corner there.
Yep.
Just trying to keep us a little bit more into it.
Yo, the wind has almost completely turned.
So then let's reposition into it.
Base runway 26, I've got traffic on final inside.
And then if we just drift off the tank. Cool. And then just reverse a little bit back. Give yourself as much room, because we're really making this challenging now. So we just give ourselves as much room as we can to do this.
Alright, let's do this.
Now we obviously have extra pressure because we've got the grass rushing, so there is a chance we're going to get to the grass and not have ETL. So you've got to be mindful of that.
Cool.
In which case we'll do the same thing at full power and come back for another one.
Sharp, sharp.
That's it.
Okay, stay on 22, stay on 22.
You didn't even get 22 on that.
Yeah, okay, cool.
You see the difference?
Yeah.
So it doesn't seem like a massive amount of power down here, but the first one I think we went to like maybe 22.5, and this one we didn't get to 22. And that half an inch, if you think if you're flying a turbine, that's the difference between taking off at 95% torque or 100% torque, or 100, 105. So it is a good technique to sort of have down. And just a little bit of wind helps, even though the runway was a bit more sloping.
Yeah.
And definitely we would prefer to try and do this on the runway into wind instead of on the runway or cross runway into wind. You know, there's always a give and take.
Yeah.
But now imagine we did this again now and we took off that way. You know how long we're going to scrape, because now the wind's actually swung around a little bit the other way. So this is definitely one of those exercises where you have to each and every departure reevaluate the wind. Okay, I'm happy with that. We'll obviously do more of those, but I think you got the
gist of it.
Yeah, it's a very tricky exercise to get 100% right, but it's very worthwhile exercise. All right, should we do an auto rotation?
Yep.